It's Len from Straight Talk from the Homeland. Welcome back to the channel. I'm currently in beautiful Queensland, Australia at the moment. This is Brisbane. I've spoken frequently in the past about the dangers faced by the world from any major conflict emanating from West Asia, that is the so called Middle East or the South Caucasus. Until now, we've seen such conflict confined to a few countries, but it hasn't been a spark that led to a fire raging across the planet. All signs are that this is about to change. We have a 1984 style madman in the White House, a satanic figure who speaks with forked tongue, and it seems that his cult following has no power to stop him. This madman and the entire US government and media, as well as many Western countries, are being controlled by an apartheid entity called Israel, using blackmail, bribery, and other unholy means. The Epstein files are probably just the tip of the iceberg, exposing the depravity of many of those in power. We have authoritarian leaders around the world, from Russia and Turkey and Azerbaijan to China and North Korea and others. They want to divide the world up like Trump into little empires again, to subject the people of the world to oppression so they can rule and grow rich, despite the fact that all emperors will turn to dust like ordinary people. But with their ego driven mania comes inevitable conflict. And this is what many commentators are speaking openly about. In the Muslim world, it is called Al Hamra al Kubra, or the greatest battle. In the Bible, Revelation 16, it's called the Armageddon. The Quran says that after the great battle, Dajjal, or Satan, will walk the earth. Now, I'm a person of science, and I don't usually listen to unprovable prophecies. However, as the US forces approach Iran for a battle without genuine casus belli, as if the West hadn't learnt the lessons from Vietnam, Iraq, and the many other places the US has invaded, and I see China and Russia arming Tehran, I can see the probability of profound evil increasing as predicted. Those prophecies focus on Al Sham, or Greater Syria, especially from the area near the Euphrates River and places like Aleppo, the Armenians call it Halep, and Deir al-Zor, where many Armenians were taken on genocidal death marches by Turks and Kurds. And what do we see today? The US has abandoned the Kurds. The very excuse for US troop presence is instantly shown as a lie. Thousands of IS sadists have been released by the IS run Syrian government that the West, especially the Israeli Mossad and the US Coup and Invasion Agency, or CIA, no doubt with the intent to maintain Syria's instability and to use them to attack Iraq and Iran. For its part, Turkey has shown the greatest hypocrisy by maintaining Azerbaijan's fuel lifeline to Israel while pretending to support Palestinians and others attacked by Israel. Now, Turkey thinks that by destroying the Kurds in Syria, it'll make them safer. But meanwhile, the 15 million oppressed Kurds in Turkey and others in Iraq might not go along with this genocidal plan. There have been reports of Russian military flights going to the Kurdish held areas, so maybe it isn't over for them. But for sure, the betrayal of the Kurds by Trump is a huge lesson for us all. The US is not just a betrayer of Armenians going back to 1920 when Congress refused to support President Wilson's arbitral award after the Armenian genocide. The US has shown to Europe and many others that it will betray its friends and allies whenever it wants, according to its own interests, as it destroys the very rules based order it set up after World War II. We saw the betrayal in 2023 when it did nothing to stop Azerbaijan's genocidal ethnic cleansing of 120,000 indigenous Armenian Christians, despite it being a red line. And who is the Armenian government placing all its trust in to defend Armenia's interests as it pretends that the Sunnik trip giveaway is not a corridor as Azerbaijan demands? Former Egyptian leader Hosni Mubarak once said, "Those who are covered by America are naked." In my view, Armenia needs to rely mainly on itself and its diaspora in terms of instilling strong self defense that hurts anyone committing hegemony on the homeland. It's called the porcupine defense. It can't afford to upset the BRICS nations by cutting off their trade routes from Iran, but that is what is happening. And all the time, Yerevan is pretending that Russia's ownership of the rail route via Sunik is going to be resolved with Russia paying for upgrades that will bring more NATO Turks into the South Caucasus. None of this sounds like preparing for peace to me. Armenia is being led by another renegade country that is on the edge of civil conflict itself, given the scenes of thuggery and protests we see in Minnesota and elsewhere. The US has been at war with more than 70 countries during more than 200 years of its 239-year existence. Yet this is the country, the one that just betrayed Kurds, that Armenia places its faith in. There are many opportunities for Armenia to balance itself as a bridge between the emerging parts of the multipolar world. I haven't lost hope that common sense will prevail and the prophecies will not be fulfilled. But every indication we see and the wisdom of great analysis such as John Mearsheimer and Jeffrey Sachs are telling us that it may happen. Both of these professors are of Jewish background, by the way, and they have been warning the world about the dangers of Zionism for decades. We should demand that our leaders stop this march towards oblivion before it is too late. We can't afford any more of this horror, which will endanger us and our children's future. This is Len from Straight Talk from the Homeland. Please like, share, and subscribe.